Hi, so today I wanted to show you how you can do your work and show all your steps in order to get credit on some of your homework problems where a show work window will pop up, and then also of course on the final exam, which is paper based and which I'll be grading. You want to be able to show your work on paper even though it's tempting sometimes in an online class to just click on the computer and enter your answers digitally. So make sure you get a binder, fill it up with lots of paper. Graph paper works great, or lined paper if you prefer. And as you're going through your homework problems in this course, work each one step by step, as if you were going to be turning that in for credit. So you'd want to number your problem, write the question, do all the work, circle your answer. And if there's any that you struggle with, put stars beside them or mark them with a color pen so that you know to go back and study them. It will be really helpful to have this binder when you're studying for quizzes or the final exam. Alright, so the question that I've taken a picture of here is from 1.3, and it's a graphing question. Now I just want to show you how much work you need to show in order to get full credit. When I'm grading your homework problems that require work to be shown, I give 50% of the points for the work shown and 50% for the right answer. So if you show all your work, you can earn a lot of points, even if you make a mistake. And I can give you feedback too, so that you're prepared for the final exam to show all the work that I'm expecting. Alright, so on this one we wanted to find 7 ordered pairs to the equation y equals x squared minus 7 and then determine its graph. Now you don't want to just randomly pick one of these 4 graphs. You want to actually draw it yourself on paper. So here's the steps that you would want to do with paper. You can use plain paper if you like, lined or graph paper. Write down the question. That's always the first thing you want to do. Then, next, we want to make the table of values. They said that we needed to use 7 values for x and y, starting at -3. So let's fill that in. And then what you'd want to do is show your calculations. So if x is -3, then when you plug that in, you get y equals -3 squared minus 7. And make sure you put parentheses around the -3 when you substitute it in for x. Next, you would calculate that out. Y equals 9 minus 7, so y equals 2. Put that in the table. Good, you're showing your work. Now this question asks for 7 values. They actually step you through it from -3 all the way up to +3. So let's put in the next one as well. When we put in -2, we would get y equals -2 squared minus 7. Which is y equals 4 minus 7, which is y equals -3. And you put that in the table. Now you will continue showing work to calculate all of the values in the y column. I'm going to run out of space here on this little screen, but I know you have enough paper in your binder that you could show work to calculate all of the values that are required on this problem. And then you can fill them into those spots. Okay? So the values as calculated would come out to -6, -7, -6, -3, and 2. And the only reason I'm not showing the work for those is because you now see how much work is required from the 2 that I did, and because my screen is really small. So the next thing then you would want to do is the actual graph. And in order to fit that onto this page, I'm going to have to erase some of my work here, but what you would do is you wouldn't erase your work, of course, you would just use more paper. So I'm going to erase this part here and leave the table up so that I can tell you what you need to do in order to get full points for the graph. If you are using graph paper, that's actually more ideal than trying to do it freehand. As you can see right now, I'm trying to do it freehand and it's not very straight and it's not very accurate. So if you have a shaky hand at all or any trouble trying to get these little tick marks exactly evenly spaced, then just grab a piece of graph paper, make life much easier. And then I need to do some down here as well. So you have your axis, x and y axis. And let's say which is which. This one's x, this one's y. And you have your tick marks, but one thing that I'm really picky about is you need to tell me what your scale is. So how far apart are those little tick marks? Are they spaced by 1s or by 5s or by 10s? So make sure you label at least 2 numbers in each direction. Then I know is counting by whatever that jump is all the way across and all the way up and down. Okay. And then the last thing to do would be to put your graph on there. I like to use a different color for the actual graph, but if you just want to use pencil, that's fine. I'm going to grab red, and then I'm going to start plotting the points. So, for example, the first point is -3, 2. That's my ordered pair. So when I go, I find that point, -3, 2. I'm going to put a dot. And then the next point is -2, -3, and I put a dot. Next one is -1, -6. It's way down here. And then I have 0, -7. And then I have, oh, it goes back up. So I plot all the points that they asked me to calculate. And then the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a smooth line through them. In this case, it gives you a U shape. If you get a U shape or a V shape or a line, whatever it is, try to reflect that as accurately as you can. If you get a little squiggly like I did, that's okay. You're using pencil, it's math, you can fix it. But try to do it as neatly as you can. And here's the other thing that I want to see, and this is something that they don't ask for in my math lab, so I really wanted to tell you about it in person, is make sure that if your graph does continue on forever, if you could keep going, that you put an arrow at the ends to say, and so forth. It continues up there. And there you have it. That's a beautiful graph. You've shown all your work. That would get 100% credit on a homework question or on a final exam question if it were a graphing question. Let me know if you have any questions about this. I'm happy to help. Have a nice day. Bye.
Made with Doodlecast Pro.